The Brandon Peters Show may contain explicit language and detailed plot points. For more information on the show, stay tuned to the end of the episode. And now, here's Brandon.
Welcome to Old Space Show. I'm Brandon, and riding shotgun with me, that's the passenger seat of a car, automobile, whatever, Tony Schaab.
Yes, I'm here. I'm excited. I didn't even have to call shotgun. I love it.
Nope, it's yours. The seatbelt says Tony across it.
I
All
dig
right.
it.
Today we are, this series of Old Space Show, it follows a man, the exploits of a man in his car, a man who just loves his women. The first season of Knight Rider. Today we are here to discuss the 6th episode, Just My Bill.
That's right. Devin assigns Michael to protect his friend, Senator Maggie Flynn, after several attempts are made on her life.
All right. This is directed by Sidney Hayers. This person will do 10 episodes of Knight Rider. They would later go on to Acapulco Heat. They did A-Team, TJ Hooker, The Master, Remington Steele, Greatest American Hero, both the old school Avengers and the new Avengers,
Nice.
the spy show. It's written by Deborah Dean Davis, who did Good Day at White Rock a few episodes back, and David Braff, who would go on to write, here we go, another connection, 45 episodes of Baywatch. And 6 episodes of Freddy's Nightmares.
Okay.
One episode of Swamp Thing, and 5 episodes of V, when V went from miniseries to series.
Yes.
So he's definitely was ready. The stars: David Hasselhoff, Edward Mulhane, Patricia McPherson, William Daniels, Carol Cook, Robert Sampson, Bruce Gray, and Nancy Grian. Cook is here. She's like our big guest star of TV and film. Odds are you've seen her in multiple things. Gran here, who plays her assistant, is a soap opera like legend. She has been in a ton. So we open up here. We have a senator whose life is in danger over, she's being threatened over something. She's going to some kind of bill. She's going to put in motion. We do get some Bonnie action in this episode with fixing Kit, and Kit has a little Michael Knight in him. He goes, "Bonnie, with those hands, you should have been a surgeon."
It was a really interesting scene with Kit and Michael and Bonnie. Yeah, because there's a lot of like role reversal there. I love that when he was kind of putting it down like that, and then you almost feel like Michael, because then Michael like kind of like in the background, he's like, medicine's lost, our gain, like he's like, our medicine's lost and our gain. He's like trying to like get it back, like I'm the smooth one here. And then when Devin calls him into service to go protect the senator, Michael's like, "Oh, I can't tonight. I got a hot date," because up until now Michael's very like pro like mission until he's got a date, because that's who Michael is. But then Devin says, "Oh, don't worry about it. I've already canceled it." She was disappointed, but she knows that you always honor your rain checks. And it was very interesting, especially when then Michael like accuses Kit. He's like, "Why?" He's like, "Where did Devin get her phone number?" And then so it's and it's interesting. I didn't really see it in the moment, but then I read it in the behind the scenes stuff. One of the very few times in the entire series where Kit's lights went backwards. Normally his lights read right to left, and when Michael accused him of that, it stopped, went backwards, and then went forwards again, almost like Kit was like curling his eyebrows, like, what's going on here? So it's a very unique little sequence of events there.
Gotcha. Yeah, this was interesting. I like this hanging out. Like, I feel, Devin and Bonnie are just here to start our episodes, and bring us home in the end. Like, but I want more of them.
Yeah.
But that's just not how we roll here, because it's about Michael Knight and the people he encounters every week. And he just, gets some other humans. So he has some people to have lunch with when they take breaks on set, I guess. But
these days, if this show was made in current day, Devin and or Bonnie would get their own spin-offs on a streaming service. 100%.
oh yeah, that's true. That's true. The other vehicles that she works on and does, and the other nights, not just Michael, or little random ones. Oh, Michael's not here, I have to take this.
That's right.
So yeah, Michael goes to protect the senator, which was they're right away after meeting her. There's an attempt, like someone tries to like hit her in a parking garage.
It's so there, yeah. So it's so strange. Like there are multiple, like they come out of the gate swinging in this episode. Like even like before Michael is even brought into it. Like Devin's visiting her at a construction site where she's overseeing it for some reason, and someone tries to drop a pallet of concrete mix on her, and it's like right out of the gate. I'm like, this is like they're not effing around on this one. Like they're literally trying to kill this lady. So
yeah, and this car chase, there's a pretty cool car chase that comes out of it, like goes for broke, even though it's like empty streets, a lot of it, driving around till it needs to have traffic to break it up. But yeah, it's really cool action here that I'm like, damn, that's good. The conflict though of this episode feels almost exactly like what we just had in the previous episode, where it's some sort of outside source trying to pressure another one into doing something else and trying to take attempts on their life and stuff to get their way. This one, this one's a political party trying to rough up was it she a senator, governor, something?
She's senator, I think.
Senator, push out, and the other one was a business investor trying to push out via sabotage and assassination. This is like kind of the same thing.
Pretty much, it's very, very similar, and of course you've got you've got some sort of a clear demarcation of good guy, bad guy, in the sense that the evil corporation is pushing their nuclear power plant or something, like a power plant that's not good for the environment and not good for the people, but they want it anyway because profits and yada yada yada. So, but yeah, briefly for a minute during this episode, it seemed like they were going to try to go like a whodunit type of route of like who's the real bad guy, because Michael goes and chases a lead where he thought that one of the senator's biggest supporters might be the person who was trying to kill her for to get added focus on this issue and things like that. But it ended up not going that way. But for a while, I was really intrigued. I was like, they're going to go a completely a more cerebral approach this episode. No, that's okay. Nope. It's, we're going to chase him out of his office down in the alleyway until Kit can corner him, and then a conveniently placed semi truck that backs halfway out and stops him from going back. And, we're just back to chintzy car scenes. Okay, I get it. That's fine.
That's what they want. That's all the Knight Rider audience deserves, I guess. Kit does have a surveillance mode in this that we see. True. And before, so I want to talk about when Michael does the investigation thing you were talking about. There's a part where Devin's in this episode a little bit more regularly because it's his friend. And there's a part where him and the senator are riding in the car, and he is like holding the oh shit handle on it. I noticed. I'm like, oh, someone rides like that? Like,
that's right.
A weird little detail, but I picked up on it. I was like, I saw that stuck out to me. I was like, oh shit. He was like holding on, trying to say his lines to her, and just, it was kind of funny. So Michael takes this lead, and it's this place called Friends of Mother Earth, and he goes pose as a friend of this one guy, and nonchalant Michael is not, because the woman who he convinces to tell the guy that he's a friend that come to see him, they go and they open the door a crack, and he's just digging through file cabinets.
He's right. I'm
like, dude, Michael.
He's got no chill.
Yeah, he's not even you don't go for those. They're gonna come back out, and you can't just slam it and be like, huh? He was files deep. He almost was had a big camera out taking.
Yeah.
It was bad, but it leads to a foot chase. Um, that they thought Michael was from the bad guys group because he was snooping the files. So he's like, someone wants that power bill to pass really bad. That's what the guy
Yeah.
tells him. But
It's all just a big misunderstanding. They thought Michael was the bad guy. Michael
yep,
thought they were the bad guy because the real bad guys came and ransacked their office last week and took
right.
his credit card, which they used to rent the car that Michael chased down initially. So yeah, there's
Yes.
this whole again. They tried to wrap in a little bit of that who done it type of mystery vibe, but
Right.
it ends here in this scene. So
Yeah. Yep. 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 We get some like this episode involves like some Kit jumping cars more. Get some of that. There is a helicopter chase in this one as well.
right, yeah.
With Michael jumping on a helicopter and it winds up like crashing and going boom, death.
It's such a weird thing, yeah, because Michael essentially, he jumps out of he's
Mhm.
Kit, open the sunroof, and the sunroof opens, and conveniently the helicopter is hovering 2 feet above the car, so he can grab on, and both people in the helicopter conveniently don't recognize that he is now on the helicopter
Yeah.
until it's too late, and they are also conveniently over a lake where he can chuck them out of the helicopter and they
Right.
can fall harmlessly into the water, thank goodness. So
Exactly.
and then he can very quickly climb in, and thank God he knows how to pilot a helicopter. Add that to his list of impressive accomplishments he just has stashed away for whenever. Yeah,
Right.
and then I was like, oh, we're gonna get this badass scene where Kit's gonna drive himself to the conference, escorted by Michael in a helicopter. No, Michael jumps back in Kit, and the helicopter just crashes. He
Mhm.
just lets it. He just lets it go. I'm like, stay in it. You clearly Kit can drive himself. Just both you go together. But no, we got to have a crash scene. So
Right. Yep. And all in the name of the power bill.
that's right.
But yeah, so like there was a lot of in the car scenes and driving scenes this episode. Like
Yep.
there's a lot of because Michael takes the assistant out with him a bit, and they have this is one of his like least flirtatious episodes. Like it's there
Yeah.
and you're like I was expecting more, but he was rather had some self-control this episode.
Yeah, it was interesting. Not only did the ratio of flirting go down, but so then went up the ratio. At least this is the first episode that I felt like I felt it of Michael and Devin. Maybe because the senator was on the Flag Foundation like board of directors,
Right.
but they don't seem to give a damn who knows that Kit is a self-driving, autonomous,
Yeah.
intelligent car. Like they'll tell everybody. They tell
Yeah.
Jane. They tell the senator,
It's
the
true.
security guard in the parking lot, like the valet who tries to park at the restaurant at the end. Like they don't give a damn who knows at this point.
No,
There's like
yeah.
it's like I'll drive myself. Don't touch me. I mean, they're just throwing it out to the world. It felt like up until this episode they were trying
Yeah,
to
like
keep him on the down low a little bit,
yeah,
but
they
not
don't want to
anymore.
get stolen. Like, are they gonna roll it out for the 1983 season, car season? Like, just like, yeah, buy your own kit. But yeah, like, yeah, he's rather self control. All about the mission of getting that senator there. Like, they get her there just in time. Is that bill's being voted on, and Kit's like, give them hell, Maggie. And she does. She gets through. It happens. And at the end, Michael, Devin, and the assistant go out for a bite, but the Kit refusing valet parking. That's
That's right. Yeah, it was such an interesting. It was a very interesting vibe for Kit. Yeah, another very interesting again way to kind of wrap in. Again, making sure there's a lot of car things to do. We get this whole pretty funny bit early on where Michael parks Kit in an underground parking garage, and he can't find a spot that's not reserved or something like that. So he's just like, whatever. He's like, I'm just gonna park you here. He's like, this is fine. And then there's a security guard down there who
yeah,
sees him illegally parked and goes to call the tow truck. And every time Kit moves, and it's a fun little recurring gag
yes,
to kind of give him something to do. But then later on, of course, you get the traditional car gang that has to like cut off, the one access road to where the senator is at, so that she
right,
can't get back to the vote and things like that. So you get the generic gang thing. Although I will give credit to the gang leader who's driving a blue Chevy Nova, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But he calls the main bad guy, the corporate guy. He calls him from the car, and I'm like, oh, a car phone.
Yep.
This tool has got a phone with a cord like that you would
Yep.
find in my kitchen back in the 80s,
Mm-hmm.
and he's just in the car, casual with it. He's like, he's like, this guy, I can't keep up with this guy. And he's like, and the other guy's like, okay, stop him at any cost. He's like, I'll call in a helicopter. He's like, okay, bye. And he like puts it back on the receiver. I'm like, how? I'm like, your car, your blue Chevy Nova, through by this extension here, is just as advanced now as Kit because you got a phone
Well, have
attached
you
to your
seen those
car in
old cars?
1982.
Like they used to have that like bag thing that was like a phone
Well,
that you would have,
sure.
but
Yeah,
yeah, they were
but
like
this was not that.
ridiculous.
This was like a
No,
rotary
no, that
phone
was yeah.
with the cord. I use.
He's
I'm
like,
proud enough to
hello.
say that I'm old enough. Yeah, like hello, like what number did you dial? 7? No, this is 2. Yeah, no, this is no. I'm proud enough to. I'm old enough to say that I used one of those bag phones back in the day,
Yeah.
but it had the big. It came out and it had like it still had a very electronic looking back, and it had the big antenna. This was like a kitchen phone. I mean,
Yeah, because it
literally
was
like
on the
the
back, so
regular.
you didn't have to
Mhm.
turn to it
That's
was on,
right.
and
Yep.
you could dial from your seat. Yeah.
Dial it and then pick it up if you wanted to. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, no, this was like a straight ass home rotary phone. I mean, it was
No one's gonna
ugly.
notice. No one's gonna like this. Looks like it's from my kitchen. No one's gonna care. No one's gonna care.
Yep. No one will know.
No one will care. Yeah. So like this one, I really there wasn't for being like a political thriller episode. There wasn't like much meat to it. It was just a lot. It was a lot of action. There's like one Michael investigates scene, but which results quickly in a foot chase. But like, yeah, there wasn't much to like. There wasn't any like secrets held back to let it spin around. Like you knew
Yeah.
who was doing it and what was happening the whole time. So from a like race against the clock aspect, it works and stuff. But there's, I mean, really deceptively simple episode. Like it was,
Yes.
but I think I thought it had some of the most top notch action sequences that we've seen. Of course, you had throwing a helicopter. You have a
Yeah.
foot chase. You got a good street chase. And the race against the clock to get her to the bill. Like
Right.
it rather worked. Despite not having much to offer aside from
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, it was fun. I think they kind of minimized and made it a very generic good guy, bad guy type of
Yeah.
thing where the Politico wasn't the heavy focus, so they could keep the focus on the stunts and like, hey, look, we got a helicopter this time. And the helicopter, not only that, helicopter's got a little rocket launcher, guys shooting rockets at Kit. And I feel like every episode there was this one, and there was one 2 or 3 episodes back where Kit is being shot at. Oh, it was the military one where they were on the military base, so they were doing the military maneuvers, and he was driving through where multiple times they're like, do you think you could take a direct hit? And Kit's like, I don't want to find out. Like,
Yeah.
We've tried to establish that this is an indestructible car, but we keep going back and questioning it heavily. I don't know if that's intentional or not, but I don't know. It keeps coming up.
Yeah, might have had a lot to be like, because this feels like in all the other episodes the assistant would have had much more of a part in it, but she's not really. They allow it to be the senator a lot of the time too, and they give Devin a lot of lines and stuff. So, yeah, it's just kind of different than what we've seen before. It's got pieces here of what we're used to, but it actually played with them differently, which I can appreciate that.
Yeah, 100%.
Lets me know that they're not gonna, when they can, they're not gonna coast
right
on things.
It's not too formulaic with the exact same thing, like insert new girl here, insert Devin one-liner here. So I like it for sure.
Definitely. So okay, well, Tony, let's shift gears and look on toward the sunset. Before we hit the horizon, where can people find you?
Yeah, you can come find me all over the interwebs, most regular social media places at Tony Schaab. And then I do most of my pop culture stuff over on sciencefiction.com, where we check out the movies and we do the news articles and some fun op-ed. You can come over there and argue with me about all sorts of sci-fi stuff for sure.
Awesome. And hashtag Michael for mayor. And I'm on Twitter and Instagram at Brandon4KUHD, Written Work Why So Blue. BrandonPetersShow.com. I've got a lot going on there, by the way. So if you, well, I've had a lot going. So this would be mid-December. You're listening to this. Yeah, there's plenty of reviews from me right now going on. The Tim Burton retrospective will conclude, I believe, on the next Monday. If I'm wrong on that, ha ha ha, future Brandon. And we'll be right back here again next Wednesday with more Knight Rider. But from old space,
Brandon and Tony, not so lone crusaders in a dangerous world. The world of Old Space Show.
Thank you for listening. The Brandon Peters Show is a Creative Zombie Studios production. Produced by Brad Shoemaker and Brandon Peters. Written and edited by Brandon Peters. Announcer vocals by Jessica Alsman. Theme song by Metavari. Web design and show art by Brad Shoemaker with Brandon Peters. All music and clips featured in the episode are property of their respective studios, and no infringement is intended. Additional information on this and other episodes at BrandonPetersShow.com. For any inquiries, press opportunities, or sponsorship, contact mail at BrandonPetersShow.com. The show is available on Apple Music, Spotify, or anywhere podcasts are found.